welcome everybody to another 6 Movies for Christmas. My name is Paul Dolsky.
And I'm Tessa Baker.
And we are talking about another interesting movie. This one is called All Through the House, which came out on Halloween of 2015. Which,
why they chose Halloween to
instead
release
of
it?
Christmas or something close to Christmas, I don't know. But, I guess they wanted to release it sooner than later, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so, what is All Through the House about? Well, it is about a deranged masked Santa slayer comes to town for some yuletide-terror. He leaves behind a bloody trail of mutilated bodies as he hunts his way to the front steps of the town's most feared and notorious home. It is directed by Todd, also written by Todd, and it stars Ashley Mary, Jessica Cameron, and Melynda Kiring. I'm, once again, apologize if I butchered the last name of Melynda. So, anyway, this has a very interesting story and some very nice references to other films as killing-wise, which we'll go into a little bit of that. We will also mention that there's not going to be too much spoilers going on, because if you haven't seen it yet, it is actually a pretty interesting movie, and you may or may not like it, once again, but we didn't mind it. We thought the plot was different, but in a way that we kind of already seen it, but still different. So it was nice for the kind of take. And what I mean by it different, but it kind of is the same, is like, well, I mean, how many movies can we really do when it comes to Santa Claus as a mental health person going around and killing people, really? So, basically, the idea of this film is that the families, again, in a way, in a weird sense of childhood memories of trying to be friendly with the neighborhood, but also it involves a mother who wanted to protect their kid at a very, how would you put it? Protect the kid in like a very high demanding household, I think. And which lead to other different outcomes, which I'm trying not to really say too much, because that would give away, I think, way too much of what is going on. So, Tessa, how did you feel about All Through the House with what was going
on? For it being like, it's like an indie film, right? Yeah. So, how I felt about it was it looked interesting at first, and looking at like the cover art for it. Going into it, the story itself wasn't bad, but very twisted and demented. And like Paul said, without it's kind of hard to talk about without giving away like the story itself. But from what we did see, it was very, very dark, and I will say that a certain family had a lot of issues.
A lot of issues indeed. And that's where it gets to be hard. So anyway, some of the interesting things that are going on here too is like, you know, this family household mother trying to be nice, polite, trying to invite the girls in and like basically have a
decorating party or whatever.
Yeah, but the lady of the house had to go do some stuff for a while. But she basically told them where the extra boxes of decorations are.
Have some eggnog.
And just just make yourself comfortable. But as things start to plan out, one of the girls realizes that her house is full of Santa Claus mannequins. And just mannequins dressed up in Santa Claus in general.
With really weird masks. Like, not your typical Santa Claus masks. Some of the stuff is, like, really creepy.
Antique or something. I don't know if I don't even want to say antique, but just crazy
really
stuff.
Out of the ordinary looking.
Oh, yeah. And so one of the other girls start to notice, like, the windows are all nailed shut. So, and they start to assume, like, well...
And there's also, like, padlock
doors and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, where you can padlock doors shut and...
Everything else, yeah. It just gets very interesting.
This house is just very, very, very strange.
And a place you don't really want to be in. And it gets even more weirder when there's presents underneath the tree that are for the lady's daughter who went missing. And yeah, I mean, I probably already said a little bit too much right there, but there's also more to it than what
he just said.
I'm saying too. So with that in mind, basically it's like, do you really trust what's going on within this household? With also everything that's also going around with not just mannequins, but the lady itself, too.
I'm sorry, but if I walked into a house and I saw a bunch of creepy Santa Claus mannequins and nailed shut windows and padlocked doors.
Red flags all over the place.
Red flags all over the place. I'd be like, no.
Right. So, let's take a look at some interesting kills that were actually references to other films. So, let's start with the first one, and Tessa and I will kind of go back and forth a little bit. So, one of the kills from All Through the House is a reference to the 1960 film Psycho. Because in the movie, Sheila gets killed while taking a shower. So, and then that's also an infamous scene in Psycho.
Yes. There's also referencing for the film Friday the 13th, Part 3. The final girls named after Dana Kimmel.
Which is the main protagonist of Through the House, which is considered Rachel Kimmel.
Yeah, and Dana Kimmel was also Rachel's mother, I think.
No,
Laura Kimmel.
Laura Kimmel.
Yep, Laura Kimmel. So, same last name, so yeah. Referencing there.
Yeah, so it's almost like it was like she's part of the Kimmel family, maybe? I don't know. Another one is from the 1982 film Alone in the Dark, where one victim gets attacked by the killer who's hiding underneath the bed and keeps thrusting a knife through the mattress of the said bed. Which is... It's one of those scenes where we don't really quite see often, but it is one of those ones where it's like, okay, we get it. Like, now we need to start checking underneath our bed. Basically.
Pretty much. So, another film referencing is from the Slumber Party Massacre. A victim gets killed in front of the window of the house while the person inside the house is oblivious to what's happening. Thank you. So, basically, in All Through the House, one of the girls is in the kitchen pouring herself eggnog. The other girl's out back of the house running towards the window trying to get the girl's attention. Gets killed before the other girl sees her. There you go.
Which is also like in the new Friday the 13th movie that they did in 2009. There's also something similar with that, where somebody were trying to get to the window to get help while there was some bounce chicka wow wow going on, and Jason ended up taking the person out of the equation.
Yep, I remember that.
Yes. So that's also another reference to, you could say. And so, an overall, I guess, of the film is I enjoyed the fact that it was trying to be different. It wasn't your ordinary mental psychotic
Santa killer.
There was a nice little twist to it, which I thought was decent. And it kind of made it a little bit more enjoyable in that way that they changed it around. Without saying, once again, too much either. And unfortunately, without saying too much more, I really don't know what else we could say except for, like, some acting wasn't bad. I think there was also, again, a couple where it was definitely kind of, like, hilarious with the way some of the acting was, but it was like a B film type of acting, which is fine with me because I don't mind the B-rated films either when it comes to acting.
Yeah.
Was there anything else, Tessa, that you noticed?
Like we discussed, I do like how they paid different, like, homages to different films throughout this film. Like we discussed, I also do agree with Paul that it's not your typical mentally deranged Santa Claus killer. They put their own spin on it without overkilling it or underkilling it. And I also do have to agree with him that some of the acting was bad, but it made up for it, and it was made up in other areas.
Yep. So without further ado, I think that was just basically a nice little rundown of All Through the House of what we can say, because we'd rather have you check it out and judge it for yourself. And if you like it, awesome. If not, well, then at least you tried. Because, it's getting to be that holiday spirit anyway, so why not? And this is just another one of those movies that you should just check out. Because now we have a Santa Claus movie for you. We just had Mother Krampus for you. So there's your Krampus. If you haven't checked that out, which is based off an urban legend.
And we'll have some more for you coming up soon.
So stay tuned. And as always, stay scary.